All right, our first game is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Dave, let's hear your what do you want to talk about at the start?
So I mean, I think just touching on Dragon Ball is I'm kind of excited for it because we haven't talked Dragon Ball on this series at all. I don't think. Um,
I mean, we mentioned it a little bit in our last episode, episode 30, because like Wukong has been implemented as Goku a little bit, but other than actual talking about
yeah,
Dragon Ball games, we have not talked about any
yeah, and
Dragon Ball
it's
on this channel.
not. Yeah, and it's a really big topic, and I was like, we 31 episodes before we touched on anything Dragon Ball. That's kind of crazy. But I'm super excited about this, and I know that there's somebody else that's super excited about it. A little shout out to my baby bro, Pete. Love you, buddy. We are finally talking about something Dragon Ball because he's been a huge Dragon Ball fan his whole life. And we haven't touched on anything. So yeah, this game to me, as you guys know, and if you guys are listeners of the show, I'm not the hugest anime fan, to be honest.
Mhm.
Not the hugest Dragon Ball Z fan, to be honest. But this game specifically looks really, really cool to me. There's some very like defining characteristics of this game that I think is like kind of standout stuff in a fighter.
Mhm. And you know me, like again, I'm also not a huge Dragon Ball fan. I've watched a lot of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, just as a kid as it popped up on the like cartoons and stuff like that. But I don't know as well as some other people I know. But I specifically remember playing these games as a kid, and to me, that's why I'm excited about it because I love fighters, and you know that, and listeners also know that fighters are those are some of my favorite games. Even though I'm not the best at them, I like to play them because they're just fun. And if you ever want to face me 1v1 in them, I will most likely get destroyed because I suck at these games, but I love to play them. Um, However, I'm super excited about this one. It's going to be a Budokai Tenkaichi. I probably said that wrong. Maybe I didn't. Tenkaichi? Think that's it.
I feel like you
Budokai
nailed it.
Tenkaichi. I did. Number 4 of
Yeah,
the series. So the
yeah.
last one came out 16 years ago.
That's
So let's
crazy how long.
yeah, I know, and
Yeah.
so like fans of the Budokai series is super excited about this. It's a super dedicated group. The last like fighting game that Dragon Ball had was Dragon Ball Z Fighters, and so this is just going back to Budokai series. Now let's go ahead and pull up the trailer.
Yeah, let's take a look at the trailer because I think there's some really really cool aspects in the trailer.
Mhm.
And I think maybe like some of these things that you're seeing here is like like that. All right, so if you guys are just listening on the Spotify, the trailer is opening up right now, and we are seeing just like a very quintessential version. Like the first thing that I noticed is like from the opening scene of this trailer, like even just the very opening first few frames, I was like,
Yeah,
"This is Dragon Ball." You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's so true to like the feel of the series and the vibe of the series, and I think they really nailed that.
Yeah. And I kind of going off that is I think that's a big component of this version of the game is like they're not going too far from their roots. Really, essentially, what number 4 is, or Budokai, this Sparking Zero essentially is a refresh of the game and just bringing it to modern day age and just with like crisper animations and like tons of like new terms, things like that, or like there's destructiveness to the environments now,
Yeah.
which there was in the past, but with this one, it's more specific on how you interact. So, like, if your enemy hits a boulder, the specific part that you hit is going to fall over, if that makes sense. So, like, in the old ones, you hit a boulder, the whole thing collapses. But now it looks like if you hit the top of the boulder, only the top will break, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like much more of like a attention to physics,
Yeah,
a much more
exactly.
realistic style. Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit, and I was like, this game specifically, like that increased environmental damage, it really needs it. You know what I mean? And it's because we're dealing with characters that are so powerful, right? That if you did not affect the environment in this fight, it would almost feel weird. And the example that we were like that I was kind of talking to you about, it's like you play a Godzilla game and you like Godzilla does not destroy the city. Like you feel like you're causing no damage as Godzilla, and you're just like, this feels wrong. Like it just feels off. You know what I mean? And I'm excited that they brought the environmental damage to like where it should be. You know what I mean?
It almost wouldn't make sense if they didn't have that in this type of game because of how explosive they are. And then kind of going off that a little bit, I don't know. In the trailer, you saw Frieza holding his. I'm gonna blank on the name because it's been so long. But he's throwing his Earth destroying ball down, and like they're in one scene, and you see the ground kind of crumbling around him, and then the next clip is Frieza versus Vegeta fighting in a like a destroyed world. And so I think that's really cool that it's going to have that level of destruction where it completely alters the world you're playing in.
Yeah, and I think like you talked about, it's like they made some improvements to the gameplay mechanics, and from everything that I've read, they've made those improvements based on feedback from players of the series, but they really stayed true to like the core gameplay mechanics. Like this hasn't changed a lot from Budokai 3, and I think that's good because people had some issues with the gameplay mechanics, but not like anything detrimental. I mean, for the vast majority of people are like this feels really good. It plays really good. And it's like the classic if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know what I mean? So and they stuck to those modern game like they stuck to those gameplay mechanics that people love, and I think that's really really cool. And you can see a lot of that in the trailer. I mean, we don't have a ton of actual fighting in the trailer, but what we do see, it's like they have the blue Super Saiyan, like that. People are expecting that, like they're doing like the beam clashes, like we saw like we
The
saw like the beam clash.
Kamehameha, come on,
Yeah, like
Dave, come
well,
on.
you know what I'm saying though,
I
but
know.
you like we saw the beam clashes in the
Yeah,
like in
yeah.
the trailer, and like everything that everybody's expecting should be in this game, I would think.
Yeah, and it's funny kind of how you talk about that. So I asked my friend who's a huge Dragon Ball fan, like he has all of the Dragon Ball on DVD, Dragon Ball Z. He might have those on Dragon on DVD as well. But he collects like all the Dragon Ball Z pop figures and a bunch of collectible stuff. And I asked him, I was like, "So what do you expect from this game?" And he just says a bunch of new characters from Dragon Ball Super. But other than that, he didn't say that he wanted change to the gameplay mechanics because like you said, like fans are super excited that they're staying true to it. And and for me, I like where it's like 3D. Like I love that about like this fighting game. It's because like it's you're just in the whole environment, not just being stuck on a platform side or 2Ds. You know what I mean?
The fans really kind of like the gameplay mechanics, and I think it's cool. The one gameplay mechanic that I do want to throw out there, and I hope that they make an adjustment to this, is we talked very mildly about the beam clashes. And the beam clashes, a lot of times, it's like, you get into that lock mode where it's like you have to do a specific action, and whoever does that action fast enough ends up winning the clash, right? Um, in some games that has some things to do with like the stick. I know specifically in like 3 it was like this like circular motion of the stick. Um if anybody from Bandai Namco is listening, if we could change that to like a button mash of X, that would be a lot better because I just remember like playing games like that and like my hand would literally hurt like trying to
Yeah, it started
spin that stick
cramping up.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if y'all have noticed, and I'm sure a lot of you have already, but these new next gen controllers, we're already having some issues with like stick drift and like a lot of, issues with these sticks not performing well. So anything that we could do to keep me from having to buy another $70 controller sooner, that would be great. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, so hopefully that's not in there. And with that I saw like it's cool cuz you can like dodge out of the beam attacks if you so want to. So I think that's pretty cool too. So
Yeah. No, I think the game itself looks really, really cool. But no, the one question that I had is you kind of brought this up too, and it's like the only thing is like, is there a storyline to this game, or is this just like is this more just like a tournament fighter?
I we yeah, trying to think about that. I'm not 100% sure, but I haven't played the old ones in the past, but from what I remember is it wasn't so much a story, it was just more so like you fight in these like battles that were in the show. If I remember correctly, like, you go to these battles and like it's just like an iconic battle between like two characters. So like Frieza versus Goku, and it's a fight between them. And then you go to the next fight, and it's like a little cutscene in between each one. But I haven't played in a while, so I can't really remember how it was. But I don't think it's gonna be like a true storyline. It might be kind of what you said, like a fighter like tournament style.
Like reliving like the coolest fights from all of the shows.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what the old ones have done. At least unless I'm mistaking it for a different game, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was done in the past.
Yeah, because I mean that could be really cool because I was kind of like I wasn't really sure of the timeline of this game of like where this game actually exists because you look at the title, the title is Dragon Ball. It has all the Dragon Ball Z characters in it. The information that's coming out from the developers and on the website, it's like they're kind of pushing the feel of like, okay, well, this is Dragon Ball Super, and it's like I'm confused at where we are. Like what series is this?
Yeah, and that's a question that I don't know the answer to as well, and they didn't really show us as well in the like the website or the. But from what I understand, it's gonna kind of combine them in both, and that's why I think it's gonna be like you'll go to specific battles between like certain characters in certain parts of the franchise, if that makes sense.
I mean, it's gonna be really, really cool. And I do have one more question, and I think this is kind of like the most the biggest, most popular thing that people are really excited about. And that of course is the roster of characters. This is supposed to be touted as the largest roster of characters ever in a Budokai game.
I think so, and it's funny to bring that up because I don't know how many that's gonna be because that could be a ton of characters. It's gonna be all of them from all the series, or is it gonna be a certain amount? Are they gonna turn into a DLC where you get these 10 characters, but now you have to buy these like for $20 for two, kind of how Mortal Kombat does it? It's a hard question because like on the website that you brought this up to me, it's like before it said historical amount of characters, and now the website says like a bunch or something like that, an incredible amount.
An
Yeah,
impressive amount.
yeah, incredible, impressive number of characters, and it's how many is an incredible number of characters is the question.
Yeah. Because I thought that was really funny. It's like when this game came out and the website was like, oh, this a historic amount of characters. And then everybody's like, yo, there's going to be like 80 characters in this. And then the website's like, hold on, guys, let's pull it back. Let's change it. Everybody calm down. It's not historic. Okay. It's just impressive. You're just like, ooh, guys already backstepping on that one, huh?
Yeah, dial back your expectations if you expect 80 Dragon Ball characters in this game. I have no idea how many characters are going to be in. I hope a lot because there's so many characters that I know and love that I would love to see in this game. But I kind of lost it after Dragon Ball Z. Like I'm not there with the Dragon Ball Super as much as like my friend and probably your brother, but I'm still excited about this game. And like you said, like we had talked about this a little bit. Is there's you counted 19 already, like that in the
Yes.
trailer. So there's a lot of characters just based off the trailer. You know, there's only going to be more than what the trailer's showing. They don't want to put all their eggs in a basket to show everybody. Like they're keeping them behind hidden doors and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, like Adam said, I kind of looked through all of like the trailers that have released and all of all the gameplay stuff and just kind of did a little bit of a deep dive and I found 19 different characters within all of that are technically I would assume they're technically confirmed because they're being shown in all this material, which is still a decent amount of characters. I mean, for a fighting game, having 20 characters in the roster is pretty good. And, like Adam said, there's going to be more that they're not showing. So, I mean, I don't think that they're going to disappoint, um, if that's a good word. I don't think they're going to disappoint with the number of characters, but I did just think it was kind of odd that everybody was like super juiced and then they were just, as developers, they were like, "Whoa, hey, let's all calm down, guys." Like,
We'll show you when we're ready, but it's got to be more than just 19. And I I wonder like so, and they also with it they're gonna have their signature abilities and their techniques and stuff like that. My one concern is I know they're staying true to most of their like what the game was in the past. Are they gonna have the elements of like how Mortal Kombat's doing, where like oh, you have to level this character up to get this part of the character. Like, that's one thing I don't want to see in this game.
I'm also kind of concerned about that, and I'm also kind of concerned of, are they saying that this is like a historic amount of characters, and they're also counting like the Super Saiyan transformations as their own characters? I mean, there's a little bit of like, I don't know. There's a little bit of gray area still with this game, and I don't think people are gonna want to do the level up process like in Mortal Kombat. I don't think that that worked.
I don't really like it in Mortal Kombat either. Where like you get like not different abilities, but like you unlock different things as you rank up your character, and you can unlock specific types of moves and stuff. But I don't know. I don't think it's gonna do that just because it's really an expansive list of characters. I don't know how they can. If they have like, I know 80 is a lot of numbers, but let's say they have 30 characters. That's a lot of extra steps to put into these characters as you play or like as you develop a game.
Yeah, in any fighter, you don't want to have a move set locked behind any type of leveling system, and especially that tournament fighting is still really big, right? So it's like I don't understand, what Mortal Kombat's gonna do, where it's like, okay, we're gonna have a Mortal Kombat tournament fighter. Well, does everybody work with the move set of the maxed out character?
I think how it works is like there's different move sets like that are banned for tournament play and things like that. And so I think if they're gonna do that, that's gonna probably how it's gonna happen with this game too.
When you're playing any type of tournament fighter, you just want to kind of like get your character, you want to get your main, you want to feel comfortable with all the move sets and not like because you very much develop like a style of playing with this character, right? And it's really important in a tournament fighter that you're really good with a specific character with a specific move set. And it's like you're constantly relearning the move set as you're adding things to it. In the context of a tournament fighter, like that's not ideal for anybody. You know what I mean?
Not at all. But overall, I'm super excited about this game, and the more that gets released, I'm gonna be even more excited about it. And in my MUVR, of course, I have Dragon Ball Budokai 3 in there, so I'm gonna be playing
Loaded
that.
up.
So yeah, exactly. So I'm super excited about this one, and the more and more that comes out about it, we'll talk about it as it comes out. But it's on my list, on my wish list.